I'm going to show you how I increased my credit limit from $500 to over $30,000 in only a few years. Ready? Let's go. What's up everybody, Vincent Chan here, and today we're going over all the different ways that you can very easily and quickly increase your credit limit. So give me exactly what we're covering today. Number one, the benefits of increasing your credit limit that you may not be aware of. Number two, we're covering all the different ways that you could be increasing your credit limit very easily, a step-by-step process. And number three, the things you need to be aware of before increasing your credit limit, because these things could honestly mess up your financial future forever. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So number one, there are three benefits that you may not be aware of. Number one is the higher the credit limit that you have, the better your credit score could be because of credit utilization. And credit utilization contributes to about 30% of what determines your credit score. How you might be asking is because credit utilization is determined across all your different cards, which means that even if you increase the credit limit for one of your cards, overall across all your cards, that credit utilization rate is gonna go down. For example, if you have a credit card with a credit limit of $1,000 and you spent $600 on that card, that means your credit utilization rate is now 60%. However, if you do any of the strategies I'm going to be talking about later on and you increase your credit limit to $2,000 and you still have that $600 on that card, that means your new credit utilization rate is only 30%. And that 30% can significantly benefit your credit score because the rule of thumb is having a credit utilization rate of about 30%. And if you want another way to increase your credit score by on average 45 points in only a few months, check out this video over here where I talk about Self-Lender, but only after you finish this one. Pretty please. The second benefit is increasing your spending power. Just like how Iron Man upgrades his armor, you can be upgrading the purchasing power that you have with your credit card. However, with greater power comes greater responsibility. And although it might be a blessing that you can be able to spend more money and purchase more goods, it could also be the worst thing that could happen to you for the rest of your financial life. And this is something we're gonna be talking about at the end of the video, so make sure you save for that. And the third reason is rewards program. And this is probably the main reason I actually use my credit cards, because if you think about it, if you have a credit limit of $10,000 and you max out your credit limit and there's a 3% cash back, that means at the end of your statement, you'd actually get $300 back. Now imagine if we boost that limit up and you're still able to responsibly use your credit card, you can actually get more than $300 at the end of your statement. And before I dive into all the ways that you can increase your credit limit, I want to give a shout out to my good friends at The Average Joe, which is a free newsletter on financial news. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, but their articles are pretty interesting, so check out the links down below. Now let's get into how you can increase your credit limit, and make sure you stay until the last tip, because this is the tip that really skyrocketed my credit limit personally. The first way, and this is probably the easiest way, is to just click on a link online. Certain banks such as Bank of America lets you very easily click on request a higher credit limit, and bada bing bada boom, if you are approved, then you are good to go. However, not all banks actually let you apply online, and that is a perfect transition into number two. The second way is actually call your issuing bank, and you do want to pay very, very careful attention to this because I'm going over the step-by-step way and exactly what you should be saying in order to increase your chances of increasing your credit limit. First, flip your credit card around and call the number on the back of your card. And the theme of this entire call is that you're not telling them why you need a credit limit increase. You're telling them why you deserve a credit limit increase. And some reasons that I personally found really helpful are:
hello, I deserve a credit limit increase because I have been a customer for X amount of years and have never missed a payment.
I pay my balance in full every single month.
I smashed the like button on Vincent Chan's video because I wanted to help out with the YouTube algorithm.
My utilization rate is less than 30% and I always pay my balance on time. Plus, I also had an income increase.
So great, you got through, you told them you deserve a credit limit increase, but the question is, how much of a credit limit increase should you ask for? The rule of thumb is asking for an increase between 10 to 25%. Asking for an increase for way too much, this could potentially be a red flag, especially if you don't have a good credit history with the bank and you actually missed a lot of payments. However, if you are a good patron of the banks and you actually pay on time, you have a pretty good credit score, then feel free to ask for an even higher credit limit. And before you actually execute any of these steps, make sure you stay until the end of the video because these are some of the biggest concerns and financial mistakes people make. The next way to increase your credit limit is simply automatically by waiting for it for 6 to 12 months since you had your card. Some credit card issuers actually automatically increase your credit limit if if you perform the next 3 steps really, really well. The first one is having a fantastic payment history, meaning that you've never missed a payment and you never had any negative remarks on your credit card. The next step is actually using your card really frequently, because if you didn't know, each swipe or each use of your card, the bank actually gets a small transaction fee from that. So if you don't use your card frequently, then the bank's not going to increase your credit limit. And the third step, and pay very close attention to this, is that you need to let the banks know that you're serious about your financial future. And the best way to do that is by smashing the subscribe button and ringing the notification bell to always get the latest and greatest 2 videos every single week on money, personal finance, and investing. And the next trick is the one that I personally use to increase my credit limit to over $30,000, and this is simply applying for a new credit card. Applying for a new credit card is actually the easiest way to increase your credit limit. Even if the new card that you apply for offers a lower credit limit than your previous cards, your overall credit limit is going to be increasing. That ultimately increases your credit score, ultimately skyrocketing you to potentially increase your credit limit in the future as well. I personally own 4 to 5 credit cards, and each time I opened a new credit card, they actually offered a higher and higher and higher credit limit for me. And if you need advice for the best credit cards to open, I got you guys. Check out this video over here on the best free credit cards of 2020, or check out this video over here for the best paid cards of 2020. Links also in the description down below. Now we're on to arguably the most important part of this video, and make sure you watch until the very end if you don't want to mess up your financial future forever. You need to be aware and be cautious of these things before you would request a credit limit increase, because these things are really important. Number one is, although increasing your credit limit is really good for the long term, it would actually negatively impact your credit score in the short term. Because each time you request a credit limit increase, company will actually do a hard pull on your credit history, which negatively impacts your credit score to verify that you meet their standards for increasing the credit limits. And although your credit score will decrease slightly in the short term, these hard pulls actually drop off your credit score in a matter of 2 years, and actually the benefits will outweigh the cons. Number two is, you want to think very, very carefully why you want to increase your credit limit. There are good and bad reasons. Good reasons is if you want more flexibility, if you want to lower your credit utilization rate, you want to increase your credit score. Good reason, go ahead and increase your credit limit. Bad reasons are if you are having trouble paying your bills, if you're having trouble paying for some expense, and you need a higher credit limit because you need to afford X, Y, and Z. This is a bad reason, because ultimately you're going to be entering a spiral of debt, and ultimately the things you won't be able to pay off. Number three is that timing is really important, and you want to be careful when exactly you are increasing your credit limit to not negatively impact your credit score for no good reason. For example, if you recently got an increase in your income, that's a good time to ask for a credit limit increase. However, if you recently had a pay deduction, you lost your job or something, probably don't ask for a credit limit increase, because although they will do a hard pull on your credit score, that doesn't mean that they're going to grant you that credit limit increase. And in the end, you might just be getting a negative remark on your credit score, and you don't get any credit limit increase out of it. And by the way, if you want to increase your credit score by 45 points on average in only a few months, check out my video over here.